Welcome back, Kings. Today we'll be going over the popular isekai anime, Eminence in Shadow. I hope you enjoy it. At the beginning of the first episode, a stunning teenage girl named Akane Nishino awakens from sleep. She bathes and gets ready for school. When she is about to leave the house, she notices a swarm of cameramen and reporters at the door. But this is all a myth of her imagination. There is no one outside except her driver. Her driver drives her to school. She is well known and the most popular girl at her school. All of the students greet her with a good morning. Then she meets a boy named Sid Kajino in the locker room. She greets him with a good morning. Kagan responds, but with the incorrect name of Nishimura-san. She corrects him, saying her name is Nishino. In response, Kajino calls her by another incorrect name, Nishitani-san, and tells her that he only remembers the names of people who are significant to him. Kajino leaves for class after saying this. Nishino claims that his crime isn't just that he doesn't remember her name, but that he also doesn't give her a damn look, which is why she despises him so much. In class, every student except Kajino surrounds Nishimo and asks her when she will appear in a television show. She then says to herself that Kajino has never shown any interest in her, and that she has tried to ignore her too but has been unable to do so for some reason. Then we see Kajino sitting in a classroom corner doing hand grips about 20,554 times. In the following scene, Nishino enters the bathroom and mentions how a childhood incident changed her life, forcing her to spend a long time away from show business and hide her true self from the public. However, she is now happy that she will resume her career. Kajino is then seen sitting in the school playground, reading a magic book and stating that he requires more power. In class, the teacher asks students if anyone wants to help out with student festival decorations. Nishino raises her hand, but the teacher rejects her, stating that she must attend her supplementary class after school and appointing Kajino to assist with the decoration. After her class in the evening, she calls her driver, but he doesn't answer. The scene then shifts, and we see two men severely beating her driver. Nishino then decides to walk back to her house because her driver isn't receiving her phone calls. Kajino notices her leaving school while standing on the school's roof. While walking down the road, Nishino mentions that this is the first time she has started walking alone since the incident. Meanwhile, a man approaches her from behind on a quiet street and kidnaps her after she inhales his chloroform. Nishino notices Kajino standing silently at the corner of the street just before closing her eyes due to the drug. She is taken to a warehouse by them. When she opens her eyes, they inform her that they have been tasked with kidnapping her by someone who is her father's opponent. One begins debating whether he should force himself onto her. He decides to do so, while the other says he doesn't want to hurt her and will leave her once he receives money. Kajino is watching everything from the door using his phone. He pulls a mask from his bag and puts it on his face. One of the kidnappers then approaches her, opens her shirt buttons, and claims to know that she has been abducted twice. He mocks her, telling her that she will enjoy her time with him and that he will look after her. She tries to scream but is unable to do so because her mouth is taped shut. The kidnapper tells her that no one can help her and that trying to resist is pointless. Meanwhile, they hear footsteps on the roof. Then they see a shadow, and a man dramatically enters the warehouse by smashing the window. He introduces himself as a Stylish Ruffian Slayer. The kidnapper attempts to shoot him, but he counterattacks and beats him so hard that he collapses. He then repeatedly stomps on his face with his foot. The second kidnapper pulls out his gun but drops it on the ground, stating that he is an ex-army member who will enjoy killing him without guns. He responds that he has always wanted to fight with an army person. They both initiate the duel. In the beginning, the kidnapper overwhelms him and scars him with his knife. Ruffian Slayer then attacks the kidnapper with a crowbar. He mocks him, saying that fighting with crowbars is meaningless. Using a crowbar, he quickly knocks him down. The kidnapper attempts to pick up the gun, but Ruffian Slayer stops him and smacks his head with the crowbar several times, saying that he is an expert at using crowbars. He then approaches Nishino and cuts her free. He then exits the warehouse, advising Nishino not to walk alone in the streets. Then, we see Kajino muttering to himself that he is not strong enough to be the Eminence in Shadow because a single army person gave him such a hard time. Ruffian Slayer's identity remains a mystery to Nishino. The next day at school, she greets Kajino with a good morning. She is taken aback because this is the first time Kajino has correctly named her. She's still wondering who the Ruffian Slayer is. Then we see on TV that a high school student named Minoru Kajino-san was hit by a truck and is no longer alive. Following this, we are shown a flashback of Kajino's as a child. He tells us that it is every child's dream to be a superhero, but they abandon their dreams as they grow older. he is not one of them. He then adds that he has always tried to learn skills to become a superhuman, but in reality, all of them are useless, and even if he learns all of the skills of the martial arts, he will only be able to kill 1 or 2 men at a time and will be powerless when surrounded by troops and armed forces. He claims that he has always wanted to be a superhero since being the most powerful human isn't enough because if a nuclear attack occurs, everyone, including the most powerful human, will perish. He goes on to say that he has always wanted to be a superhero who can withstand nuclear attacks. The story then takes a turn, and Kijino is resurrected into an entirely new world, wearing a unique costume and accompanied by 7 strange girls. One of the girls informs him that they have trapped the enemies and are now awaiting his command to advance. We notice that everyone in this city is unusual. Kijino then says he has no idea what happened, but whatever did happen was very good for him. He adds that he has gained a new life in a new world as a bounty, and that he now has all the superpowers and magic that he desired in the previous world.
I need more power.
He orders his squad to advance, and the episode comes to an end here. Shadow Garden is born. Episode 2 begins revealing the fact that Kijino was reborn in a completely different world as the son of Baron Kijino, an aristocrat who lives in the boonies. He also has an older sister named Clary. Years pass, and Kijino matures. He learns that their family has a tradition in which one of them becomes a Dark Knight. Claire is assumed to be the family's new Dark Knight because she is much more powerful than Kijino. In reality, Kijino is far more powerful than Clary, but he pretends to be a weakling for a reason. He engages in a money-driven nighttime battle with some bandits, killing them all with the support of his slime clothing and wizardry. After knocking down those burglars, Kijino comes across a living clump of decaying flesh. It doesn't take Kijino long to realize that it's a magically cursed creature. He takes it home and uses his magic to try to break the curse. After multiple attempts, he is successful in breaking the curse, and the clump returns to its original form as a naked elf female. Before she notices Kijino, he sits on a stool with a haughty demeanor, ready to assume the role of Eminence in Shadow. The elf girl questions him about herself. Kijino informs her that she is a descendant of the warriors who defeated and killed the terrific devil Dabalos. He goes on to say that the Dabalos cult kidnaps and curses her, and continues by claiming that they are going to resurrect Dabalos and that he needs her to join his group to prevent the cult from doing so. The female elf believes him and agrees to join his team. He tells her that his team's name is Shadow Garden and that her new name is Alpha. Following that, Kijino gives her a makeover using his own slime suit before leaving. After 3 years, Claire has reached the age of 15. She must now attend Midar Academy in the capital, where Dark Knights are trained. She teaches her brother Kijino how to use a sword but is eventually called by a maid, and she walks away, declaring that he will never make any progress. Alpha has now assembled a Shadow 7 squad of 7 girls. The day arrives for her to leave from Midar Academy, but she is kidnapped by someone from her room. Her father is perplexed as to who could kidnap Claire because she is powerful enough to counter anyone. Kijino asks Beta, an elf of Shadow 7, where Alpha is, and she replies that she is searching for Claire. Kijino informs her that Claire has been kidnapped by the Dabalos cult. She pulls out a map, and despite completely missing where he was meant to aim, Sid somehow pinpoints the cult's location. Then Kijino instructs Beta to summon Shadow 7 and prepare to attack the cults. The focus shifts to Kidnapper and Claire. The kidnapper tells her that he, too, has a daughter like her and that he does not want to harm her. He tells Claire that he once heard about her brother, Kijino, who once cured her of possession using magic. Claire denies it, claiming that it never happened. In response to the kidnapper's request for more information about her brother, Claire becomes enraged and tries to attack him, threatening to kill his family the next moment if he does anything to her brother. Meanwhile, Shadow 7 enters the scene, killing all of the bandits, and arriving at the location where Claire is chained. The kidnapper challenges Alpha to a duel, but Alpha easily defeats him. He takes an energy pill to gain extra power and attacks Alpha again, but Alpha easily knocks him down. He then smashes his sword into the ground, creating a hole to escape from. Beta tries to pursue him, but Alpha stops her, saying that he will meet the Shadow on his way. The kidnapper then approaches and encounters Kijino, the Eminence, in the Shadow. They begin fighting, and despite taking numerous energy pills and transforming into his elite form, the kidnapper is easily knocked down by Kijino's divine powers. Claire breaks her chain and leaves that place. She is unaware that her brother Kijino is involved in all of this. She returns to her house and acts as if nothing has happened to her. The next day, she greets all of the family members and departs for the capital, In the evening, Kajino and the Shadow 7 watch the sunset. He expresses his desire to join Midgar Academy. He continues by saying that no one in the village has more strength than he does to impart knowledge to him, but he is confident that an expert contender will be present at Midgar Academy from whom he can pick up additional strategies. Then he convinces himself that he will go to Midgar in 2 years when he will be 15 years old. Then, Alpha addresses him and informs him that she and all the other Shadow 7 girls are leaving him forever. This astounds him, and he wonders aloud why. They bid him farewell, and the episode concludes here. That's all for this one, Kings. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe for more content. I'll see you all very soon.